everything in between. Want to join in? Call or text the show at 573-875-KTGR. The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Friday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey, Brenden Schaefer here. You can call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. Ben, you might need to make the board hot here as the time has come. Mizzou, Texas A&M. Who you got and why you got them? As we get the chance to talk about it here on the Big Show. Finally, get our predictions.
Feels like we've been talking about this game for 2 weeks, but now it's for real. Now it's here. Now we know the status of Brett Norfleet, courtesy of Pete Thamel's tweets. It's not the result we're hoping for, but whatever he said, Drink said about the obstacle and the path, et cetera, just go win the game. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
That's what you got to do. So we'll see if they can do it. And we'll see how Matt Zowers looks in that first career start. That'll be the big story for Mizzou in that front. But give us your predictions. We want them right now. 573-875-KTGR. You can also tweet your predictions to us at KTGR Big Show. Leave comments on our Facebook page. Also on YouTube Live right now. We also will have Rob Vino, as always, at 425 to talk sports from a Vegas perspective. We'll have our picks of the week at 545, our SEC rooting guide. What kind of shape will it take today? I don't know.
Hey, you never know.
Something like that. Pick the teams that you want to see at least win in the SEC this weekend. All coming up here on The Big Show. Again, call or text us at 573-875-KTGR.
Now, The Big Show's Big Deal.
You did hear it in the National Sports Center just now. Tight end Brett Norfleet, according to Pete Thamel and his sources over at ESPN, Brett Norfleet will not play in the game against Texas A&M on Saturday, dealing with that shoulder injury that he suffered against Vanderbilt on the 2 Saturdays ago, essentially, as we'll see how he recovers afterwards. He had been listed as questionable all week. Tigers take on the Aggies, number 22 versus number 3, and it is the first ever start in college for one Matt Zowers. And really, first consecutive meaningful football games I'm sure that he's had in 2 years. Missed all of last season due to an ankle injury in his high school senior year. So we'll see how the young kid does. Came in relief and looked pretty good against Vanderbilt 2 weeks ago. We'll see how it goes tomorrow at 2:30. And that is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 7th day of November 2025. You can call or text us at 573-875-KTGR if you want to weigh in with your score predictions for Mizzou and Texas A&M. And this is where it starts to get serious. First of all, Mizzou fans have been building themselves up for 2 weeks now. Hey, maybe it can happen. And I don't doubt it. I think there is a path to victory for Mizzou in this game. It's a narrow one, though. It's one where you can't deviate from that path even for a few moments in this game and then be lost in the wilderness potentially if you get led astray at some point. A&M knows how to bury teams. And so, if you let them do that at any point in this game, it's going to be very hard to come back from.
Yeah, I don't think this is the type of game that you can fall behind and expect, we'll get it back at some point. I think it's got to be a fast start, or at least an even-keeled start where you're not giving up a double-digit deficit in the first quarter or even before halftime. I just think this team with their offense, we'll see. Everybody talked about Vanderbilt's offense too, and they only put up 17 on Mizzou, and that was a game in Nashville at their place. So maybe the Missouri defense is going to be ready to limit the A&M offense, which is extremely explosive, more than what we generally can expect going into the game. I would say that's what happened against Vandy. So if they do that, all right, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be nip and tuck, and you might be able to find a way late. But if Texas A&M scores touchdown on their opening drive, or if they score on consecutive drives to begin this game, and you're already kind of clawing from behind, that's where it's going to be tough, because I'm going to lose that resolve of hey, I did see the defense do it against Vandy, so maybe you can do it here. If it doesn't do it from the beginning of the game, I it's going to be tough in my mind to make enough mid-game adjustments to slow down A&M if they start hot. Like if that Aggie offense, which has scored 40-plus points in all 3 of their road games this season to win them all, if that's the type of output they're going to have here, Andy, I don't think Mizzou wins that type of a shootout. Not in the 40s. Maybe they can score into the 30s, but even then I would be a little bit skeptical. But I also don't think this game could be played in the 17-10 range like the Vandy game. Because then I'm looking at Mizzou's offense.
Score. They're going to need to score with some regularity.
Yeah, it's a football game, but I don't think you can win it if it's too low of a score. I don't think you can win it if it's too big of a shootout. Like somewhere in the middle where the defense shows up, you respect that A&M's got an offense and they're going to get their points, but Mizzou's offense keeps pace with that unit because Mizzou's defense allows them to, right? It's going to have to be because you can at least change the trajectory of what the Aggies have done in their road games offensively. Because I just think 40 that's a number that I just don't know if we see, Andy. But there's reason to believe it could happen. Like, are you more afraid of Marcel Reed today than you were of Diego Pavia the Friday before the Vandy game?
No, not really.
It's probably similar,
yeah.
I think, to how and look, I was respecting that Pavia was going to be a problem. And Mizzou played its best defensive game of the season at Vanderbilt to take him out of the game for the most part. They just couldn't score.
Marcel Reed's a better passer.
100%.
That's the issue.
Yes.
And even if you're able to get to him the same way that you did to Pavia, there will, like him off schedule, I think is still a pretty accurate thrower. And so he's
improved a lot.
So the way that he can still burn you in multiple ways, I think it's going to be different from what Mizzou had against Pavia. The Pavia challenge is hard to compare anything to, honestly. Yeah. Like, so here you're just facing a darn good dual threat quarterback.
He might be a better runner than Sellers, at least when we saw Sellers.
Yeah.
Because Sellers sometimes gets that kind of deer in the headlights and he takes too many sacks. Marcel Reed, I think, is playing right now like he is one of the elite throwers in the SEC as well. So, like, this is a dual threat. When they say dual threat, they mean it this time. But again, I feel like it's more palatable to play against a Marcel Reed than a Ty Simpson. I mean, I just have confidence that the defensive scheme is going to at least have a plan of attack here. I'm not saying they're going to shut him down like they did Pavia, but you felt helpless at times with Ty Simpson. I think Ty Simpson probably the best passer in the league. And look, if Marcel Reed is on that level as a passer and we find out tomorrow, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
But I just think there's an element of, LSU turned him over early in the game last week and they just couldn't really capitalize 2 weeks ago, I should say. So like there's a lane here to give Missouri's defense the credit that it earned against Vanderbilt and say, do it again. And then hopefully with a more cohesive execution offensively, Zollers is going to play the whole game rather than come in midway. You're going to probably force that downfield passing attack and stick with Hardy. And maybe, the A&M's given up big plays in the run game at times. And so I think we talked about it. You can't really fear what the other team does well. Andy, you have to say, what do we do well? And execute it to the best of your ability. You talked about that earlier in the week. And I really do think it's applicable when it comes to Hardy, when it comes to not game planning Matt Zollers with any level of fear. Like, what do we think the kid's strengths are? Let's see if he can show it in a humongous environment for this program. That's what it's going to come down to on that side of the ball. And defense, man, I don't really have a lot of notes from the Vandy game. Just know that this is going to be a challenge that might even be a little bit more difficult. I think the running backs for A&M are more potent than what Vandy had.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to think about that. We've counted the stopping the run of it all as a given largely this year, but that's going to be tough in this game. And obviously through the air, Marcel Reed, I just think about KC Concepcion when he gets into the soft spot of the defense. If that zone coverage is giving you 8 to 10 to 12 yards, I think he's going to eat it alive. And he's not the only one in that receiving corps. So it's going to be a challenge for the defense, but make plays, probably have to win the turnover battle. And this thing is not, dead on arrival. I don't think there's more than a chance to win this football game. And I think they hopefully believe that in the locker room too.
Oh, I'm sure they do. 573-875-KTGR. If you want to weigh in, who you got, Mizzou or A&M tomorrow? Let's go to LJ on the KTGR hotline. LJ, what you got, my friend?
Hey, good afternoon. Fellas, I think this is an enormous challenge for us. I'm more concerned about A&M's team speed than anything, and that applies to special teams too. I just think we're gonna struggle tomorrow to keep them off the scoreboard with special teams play unless we really sharpen it up. And I mean, this is not, unfortunately for our freshman quarterback, this is not a game you can manage. You've got to go win it. You're going to have to throw the football. I think you guys said earlier, we're going to have to score. And it's not going to be 21 or 24. We're going to have to put up, I think we're going to have to get 30. And our defense is really going to get challenged. We're going to have to try to play it in the phone booth because these guys the speed of that team against LSU was extraordinarily impressive.
Yeah.
And they've just got a lot of weapons. It's a very concerning game to stay in for the Tigers. And I mean, I'm all there, black and gold, but we really got to get on it this week. I think this is a hell of a lot more challenge than Vanderbilt or even Alabama.
That note.
Appreciate your program, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call, LJ, here on the Big Show. He is right in the fact that if this is a game that Matt Zollers is like, quote unquote, managing, like however you define that term.
Yeah.
Well,
like they can't unleash it. You know what I mean? If that's the way.
It's not that they're in trouble. They can stay in this game if he's doing that, but you can't win it unless he makes a few of those plays that are in huge moments that come by. So that's where it comes down to, is that Matt Zollers, I think, is very much good enough to keep you in this game. I don't know in his first start ever in college against that team if he is going to make those plays that are good enough to win it, because there are going to be 3 or 4 throws that are going to have to wow people and put Mizzou in excellent spots, and then they got to capitalize on them. I just don't know if those plays are going to happen tomorrow.
They're going to have to keep doing it over and over as well, because A&M will continue to put up some points, and this game's probably played in the 20s at minimum, and again, maybe more, depending on how the defense answers this challenge of what Texas A&M is capable of doing. So, yeah, I don't think you can manage your way to a win. You could manage your way to covering the spread, but that's not worth anything with where Missouri's season is right now. But like I do feel like Zollers can have a good day. A&M has given up points in their road games. They gave up 40 to Notre Dame. I get it. That's a top 10 team. They gave up 42 to Arkansas. I understand that's probably a top 10 offense, even if their team's not very good. LSU's not a great offense. They still put up 25 points a couple of weeks ago. I think Missouri can move the ball. I think, though, we sound like a broken record with this, but if we're talking about, how much can they afford to put on Zoller's plate and will he answer the bell, it might just have to be a truly outlier performance by Ahmad Hardy. And I think to have one like that, I think he can. We've seen it from him. But I also think you need the offensive line to block in a way that they haven't run block since the schedule ramped up. We haven't seen it. They were okay last week.
Yeah,
last game against Vanderbilt.
Auburn game
and
Alabama was unacceptable.
It was horrific.
Yeah.
In Alabama, it was tough to find a hole. He was getting hit in the backfield. They've got to be probably at least at the Vandy level and maybe even a little bit above that in terms of what they're doing across the O-line. Not just in pass protection. Like, don't get Zollers killed. Give him some time. But let Hardy find a hole, man, because if he finds one, he's going to hit it. And we know that's within him. I don't think that he's suddenly turned into a pumpkin because his numbers have been more pedestrian since the schedule ramped up. I think he needs just a little bit of an opening, and he will burst through it if that offensive line and the tight ends that'll probably be on the field in 2 tight end sets with Jordan Harris and Jude James. You're going to see those guys with no Brett Norfleet. It's going to be a challenge, because Norfleet can help you out in the blocking game too. But that, I think, short of Zollers just being suddenly, Drew Lock at the quarterback position coming in, just stepping in, and it's like, wow, this guy's got game, which maybe he'll do it. Even if he does do it, I think you've got to have that game from Hardy. You've got to have the game where nationally they're talking about the week that Ahmad Hardy had if Mizzou's going to win this football game.
573-875-KTGR. Text us your predictions for Mizzou A&M tomorrow. Adam saying, again, A&M best team in the SEC. We play well on defense. The freshmen make freshman mistakes late. We don't cover 33-17 A&M.
Come on, guys.
It's not the
Come
only
on
texter.
now.
We've got some other texters that are more optimistic.
I know.
James saying,
I know.
I think tomorrow's the day. Drink and the Tigers are sick and tired of hearing about how Mizzou can't win the big game.
I bet they are.
Yeah.
If it's STP, tomorrow's when you prove it. I mean, if there's an STP mentality to this team, that's it. I mean, this is the last time. This could be the last STP game of Drinkwitz's tenure if it doesn't go the right way. Like, we could leave this season going 8-4, 7-5, and going, oh man, what did they ever prove? But I guess he didn't have to because Penn State still wanted him. Like, that's a negative outlook to it all, but there's a national narrative that would suggest that that's the case. I think you win this A&M game. It's a huge proof of concept to the football coach to say, you guys give me the NIL I need to be great here, and I don't need to go anywhere else to do it. But I got to, he probably is, if nothing else, that's what the hope would be, right? Like, he's leveraging a little bit of that. What can I get? Not for me, but for my assistants, which we saw before the year. That was the last extension. But can he get those guarantees in terms of the NIL? And I think he will. I think everything we've seen about the way the money flows around here, that's something that can happen. But I also think you get the people with the pockets to be a little bit more excited about things if you can plant your flag on a game like tomorrow. I just think it's so important, Andy. It is such a critical game in so many ways. And I don't know. I didn't come into the season thinking A&M was this team. They've really impressed with the way that they've played their schedule. So I think I've had to adjust a little bit what I've thought, but you can't be intimidated by the three by their name. Top teams lose games, especially when they go on the road in this conference. So the fact that it's been 7 on the point spread and it's come to 6.5 in some places, maybe back to 7, there's a belief somewhere that, like, this ain't going to be a rollover type of game. I do think this is the first time I have been fearful of a blowout and being on the wrong end of it. I did not think it was even going to be possible against Bama or Vandy. I thought you could lose close, and they did twice. You could get blown out of this football game. But I also think it's the first time that I really feel, the first time maybe all year, including Kansas, including South Carolina, that I feel Mizzou could win a football game by double digits tomorrow against a power opponent.
Wow.
Not obviously, I knew UMass would be double digits, but I remember thinking for Kansas, is this going to be a fight? We don't know what that Kansas team is yet. We think they've got a pretty good offense. It's a rivalry game, going to be close. I think I predicted a 1-score game. South Carolina, I remember saying that's a huge point spread. I don't think we cover it, but we're going to find a way. Happened both times. And then I just thought with Vandy and Bama, they'd be close, hard-fought games against top, basically 10 opponents when you faced them. And both times we fell a little bit short. This is the first time where I'm like, that defense on the other side might shut you down, but there's a world in which Mizzou under Zollers does find a new gear, and you make enough plays defensively. It would probably involve a defensive score or something of that ilk to win this by double digits, but it's the first time that I really would say it's a plausibility. There's a lot of variance to this game, which kind of feels like the way I felt about the season at large when we came into it, saying, look, man, they could go 6-6, 7-5, but that 10-2 is still there. That 11-1, I thought at the time, could still be there. Tomorrow's going to tell the story of this team's season, man. It really is.
Matt called in with a question, 573-875-KTGR. Do you think Zowers is a better fit for Mizzou than Prabula in this game?
In this game, I don't know. I don't think that I feel comfortable saying that the answer is yes. We don't know what Matt Zollers is going to look like. But I think we did get to a point, and like there were rumors about Bo having a hand injury. Maybe that's part of the reason it didn't look like we wanted it to with the downfield passing game. But they're definitely got to a point where we looked at it and said, all right, this is not a downfield offense the way that we hoped. It's got to be quick screens. It's got to be quarterback run. It's got to be Ahmad Hardy. And like that was going to be the way that they would get it done if they did, Andy. And that was limiting, I think. In a game like this, you could make an argument to Matt's question that you need a downfield passing attack in the ability to move the ball quickly. Because as much as I don't think they can come back from a double-digit deficit, might be down by a score late and have to push the ball down the field to get the points that you need to extend the game or to win it. And I think it's easier to do that with a Matt Zollers, if Zollers looks like he did at Vandy, than necessarily with Bo because of the mistakes he could make when locking into that first read, because of sometimes his tendency to bail out of a play and look to run instead of standing firm in the pocket and trying to find the next guy. We'll see. I mean, this is a freshman that you said didn't even really play football as a senior in high school. So it's not as though we can just look to Zollers and say, he's going to be a great quarterback with his progressions and go first read, second, third, and find the open man. Like, we don't know. It's going to be a challenge. They're going to have to put him in favorable positions.
Now, look,
but to the question, there's a realm in which that's possible because we may see a different element to the downfield passing attack. That would be the hope.
I would say that Zowers seems like a guy that it is absorbing this and applying it a little bit earlier on than, say, maybe like both Bo Prabula and Sam Horn did when they were the same age as him, essentially.
Yeah.
Like I think he's starting to, and some of it's by necessity, right? He's had to have some first team reps because he was always one play away since week one from being the guy, and now he is. And so I think the preparation level for him has been, I'm sure, extensive enough. And from all accounts and from all reports and reading, several stories, including Cody Goodwin's from Power Mizzou, which was great this week. It seems like he's a kid that can really attach to this and take it by the horns. But, again, you just never know until you actually throw him into that war. And again, the mental side of it, he has had 2 weeks to think about the fact that he's going to be the starting quarterback now. It's a lot different situation than when he was just thrown in saying, hey, just be in there for us against Vandy, finish the game. Very different approaches to how you have these two different types of games. So we'll see what that looks like for the young man. 573-875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. All right, Brenden, what is your prediction?
My prediction, and I'll give it to you here in a moment. I also want to mention, I do think the Zollers passing yardage, we were wondering where that would land. I've seen it in one spot at 177.5. I do think he's going to have to do more than that in order to get Mizzou the win. I think Hardy can have a great game, but to win it, I think you might need to be closer to that 200, which is around where we had it. A&M has given up 240 passing yards per game over their past three. Talon Green went for over 250. They gave up 250 or so to DJ Lagway. So it can be done. Look, man, there's a lot that tells you, if we come in on Monday, Andy, and we're talking about a game in which Missouri lost 27-13, I'm not going to be stunned by that, but I'm sure as hell not going to predict it. Come on, man. If STP is the mentality around here, this is the time. If there's ever been one, this is the time to do it. And I see enough, even if it's only like a 20% outcome, where 20% of the time you play this game and Mizzou's offense hums, and A&M is back on the road where they give up points more often than they do at home, and you find a way to engage in a little bit of a back and forth with these guys, and you make the winning play or two that just has come a little bit short when it's come to these top 10 matchups previously under Eli Drinkwitz. I'm predicting a Mizzou win. Earlier today, I said 24-17. I really don't think you hold A&M that low, but it would be a statement if you did. Give me Mizzou 27, A&M 23. Mizzou gets the win, and we're having a crazy, wild ride the rest of this season as we're dodging arrows on the coaching carousel, and we're talking about the fact that CFP is still on the table.
I would love to be in that world.
Come live with me. Join me. They can do this.
I don't know if I can.
Come on.
It's going to be too much. A&M's offense, I think, is going to start fast in this game.
Oh, please don't take the ball first.
The what?
I know their offense might start fast. I think the way that you turn this thing a little bit, at Vandy, we won the toss and took the ball. Is that correct? I think that's what happened.
I think that's right. Yeah.
I was not in a position to where I could see, but I don't want to trust your defense. You're right. They might mow down on offense, but I think you have to set a tone where your defense is going to not let it happen. And you have to lean into that a little bit and defer if you win the toss. Sorry for interrupting, but I wanted to get that.
No, but I'm saying that I'm not even saying the very first possession of the game. I just think with A&M's first three possessions, I think they do some damage.
With that speed.
I do think Mizzou fights back in this game, though. I think they will have a chance to climb out of it, and they will find ways out of it. But it's not going to be enough. The hole that they dig early in this game will be too hard to climb out of. I think A&M wins 30-24.
Oh,
that'd be tough.
Find a way. Nah, find a way.
Like
They
in
can
that
do it.
scenario, it's most likely like they have a chance to win it with
Yeah,
the
in
ball in their
theory.
hands, down 6 or something like
Or
that.
to
and
get
they
a
can't get it
stop, to
done.
get the ball back.
Right.
That could be too.
Yeah, so that'd be tough, but I think that's how it's going to go. Quickly, let's get Ben in here on the KTGR hotline. Ben, what you got?
So this is my take. If Matt Zollers is under center 30-40% of the snaps, we win 31-20. If they can hard play action pass, because it's going to be a sellout to stop Hardy, right?
Yeah.
So if he can hard play action pass, he's got a cannon for an arm. Let him throw it deep.
Yeah, we'll see. Appreciate the call, Ben, here on the Big Show, KTGR. I'm seeing another text on here on that from Derek saying too many shotgun formations. Like, that's the game these days. Like it.
Yeah, I like the thought, but I don't know if they're going to change
everyone is going to be out of the shotgun most of the time. Mizzou, that's not the reason why they have a bad offense. Is because they're in shotgun. That's the game these days. A&M does a ton of shotgun, and their offense looks great. So, it's just that is what it is. But
play action will be important, though.
Play action will be important, and the run game would be important. You can still get the run game going no matter what formation you're in. Call or text us 573-875-KTGR here on the Big Show. We'll get Rob Vino's thoughts on this game next. He of WagerTalk.com and sports from a Vegas perspective on the rest of the college football slate in the NFL this weekend. Next, here on the Big Show.
Miss the latest edition of the Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now wherever you get your apps.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They are knowledgeable car people, great folks to work with, and they make sure you get a great deal, too. If you head over to leestirecompany.com, you can check out all of the great rebates that you can get on select tires. And if you're in the market for new tires right now, well, now's a great month to do it because Lee's Tire Company, all throughout the month of November, is giving you a free front-end alignment if you buy 4 new tires. So not only are you getting a top-notch crew to find the right tires for your vehicle, but you're also getting that free front-end alignment. Again, good through the end of this month. So head into Lee's Tire Company to take advantage of that now. And on top of that, their work is backed up by a 36 months, 36,000 miles nationwide warranty. Keeps you safe on the road, keeps you safe in your wallet as well. Head into Lee's Tire Company. There are 2 locations in Columbia, one on the Business Loop, another one at University Garage right by the MU campus, or their location in Centralia, or online at leestirecompany.com. Because if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. leestirecompany.com.
When I was in Iraq, our convoy was hit. It was bad. After I came home, I could still hear booms and see tracer fire. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
With help from DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Today, I'm part of DAV. We're veterans helping veterans to get the benefits they've earned. And I give my veterans my all.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Naomi Mathis, thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
And now the doggy dedication with Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. This week's letter comes from Coco in Colombia. Coco writes, Dear Kretsch's, my human's been whizzing off his new deck nonstop. I've never seen him so happy. But while he's making salty lemon snow cones, I don't have a place to pee of my own. If I had a wood fence to whiz on, I could unleash my freedom stream from a 3-legged lean. Well, Coco, Kretsch's Custom Exteriors can build you that fence to splatter your bladder. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at apiprojectfitness.com.
It affects hundreds of millions of people each year. The need for diabetes awareness is greater now than ever before. It's National Diabetes Awareness Month, and since diabetes is the leading cause of amputation, Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center reminds you that they offer several treatments, including their hyperbaric oxygen treatment to help prevent the worst-case scenario.
Real healing starts here. Boone Hospital, Boone Healing Center.
Learn more at boone.health today.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
It'll be a lively atmosphere, no doubt. But give us your thoughts on how Mizzou A&M is going to go tomorrow. 573-875-KTGR. Here on The Big Show at 4:31 with Andy and Brenden. Let's bring in our good friend Rob Vino over at WagerTalk.com, sports from a Vegas perspective, on Twitter at Rob Vino Sports. And you can go to WagerTalk.com to see all of his great stuff. And Robbie, with this weekend being a pretty huge one for Mizzou, as they have to navigate it with a third-string true freshman quarterback now and take on the number 3 team in the land. That seems daunting in and of itself. They're about a touchdown underdog here. How do you view all of those aspects put together based on what you see on the point spread?
Well, I think it shows up in the point spread, guys. And they bet it even higher now. It's almost a universal 7 at this point. 6.5's hung out for quite some time, but today a lot of those were taken up. So A&M seems to be the choice of the betting market at this point in time. I know there's a lot of people in this industry that think maybe there's too much built into the line here in this situation. And, people I talk to, they, a lot of them are taking Coach Drinkwitz at his word here. And it's hard to tell what coaches mean when they speak, right? You guys are around Coach Drink a lot. You hear all his quotes, but, to tell everybody that we're going to be okay, we're going to play to Matt Zollers' strengths. I know a lot of people that are taking that as Missouri's going to be just fine offensively. I'm not so sure. It's a lot to ask in this degree of high-level game for a true freshman to come out there. There's a lot on his shoulders tomorrow. I don't know how his body clock works, if he's, unfazed, if he's going to be nervous, if they come out and if they get behind 7-0, do you feel too much pressure? It's a difficult game to gauge. I guess the only steady that you can have here is A&M. And I would almost prefer that because the balance on offense has been excellent all season long. 200 rushing, 200 passing, 200 rushing, 200 passing. Do it against Auburn, a great defense. Do it against Florida, a really good defense. Do it against Notre Dame, a really good defense. Most of A&M's work against good defenses has been at home. That's the only thing you can find through the schedule. Is now they got to take it on the road and beat what's statistically the best defense in the SEC, right? I didn't play this game, guys, and I'm going to sit and on Saturday my bias will show and I'll be rooting for Mizzou. But I worry about this game. I really do. A&M, they showed up as number 3 in the rankings on Tuesday, right? So there's a lot to play for here for them. Not that there's not for Missouri. They might be playing for their playoff lives in this game. In fact, I would say they are playing for their playoff lives. Got to win this game. So you can make a case back and forth. I still think A&M is the right side. I just don't like the number of 7, so I laid off. Total-wise, no real clue because I don't know how the freshman quarterback's going to react here. So we'll see. Hopefully Mizzou can get a running game going, guys. That's always a young quarterback's best friend.
Yeah, and obviously Ahmad Hardy will be the answer there if the Tigers can do it. Rob, I guess the angle I'm curious about, and it's maybe more exploring that total, which I see around 48.5. Mizzou goes into Nashville against Diego Pavia and company, and yeah, they lost that game, but Pavia was irrelevant. It was a 17-10 final where the defense against a mobile quarterback kind of found its footing and maybe gave a blueprint to Texas a little bit. I'm curious for you on the defensive side for Mizzou, what's the challenge of Marcel Reed? Is it comparable to Pavia in your eyes, or do you have to really take him as his own man and say, look, this has been one of the most productive offenses in the country because of what this guy's been able to do?
It's somewhat comparable, I would say. I think where Pavia probably exceeds all others in grit and determination, right? But Reed is I think the biggest difference, Brenden, is the surrounding parts. For what it's worth, Vanderbilt doesn't have NFL parts surrounding Pavia, where A&M has guys that will get drafted at these skilled positions. So it's a real step up for the remainder of the defense. It's one thing to try and game plan for a dual threat quarterback, and it's another thing. We got to deal with multiple receivers. We got to deal with a good running game. We have to deal with an offensive line. All those areas, if you and Andy were picking teams on the playground, you'd both be going after the A&M athletes first and the Vanderbilt athletes second. The home field there's something to be said for home field for Mizzou. They didn't get to play Vandy at home, but I don't know. Texas A&M to me is clear, and the job Mike Elko has done, considering Jimbo Fisher couldn't do anything like this during his tenure. Certainly what Mike Elko's done has been great, but I think that's the biggest difference. The quarterbacks are the quarterbacks. They're both really good at what they do, dual threat, but the surrounding pieces for A&M are so much better.
Rob Vino of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. The other SEC line that I had the most questions about for you, Robbie, was Georgia at Mississippi State. It seems that with how Georgia has played this year, probably not a great ATS team, and then the opposite for Mississippi State. And they get this game at home and they get 9.5 points for this one. Is this something where Georgia, they see their ranking kind of similar to what you're talking about with A&M? They see themselves at 5 and they think, all right, now's the month where we're just going to turn this on? Or are we still going to see this Georgia team kind of play with its food a little bit and maybe just squeak by with the 6 or 7 point win?
Guys, the benefit of what I do here and bouncing around 5 days a week, from wager talk shows to shows across the country to other company shows as a guest, is you get to hear a lot of different voices. And I got one today that I was unaware of. And this is really specific. Georgia against the spread in the first quarter in their last 16 games is 1-15 against the spread. Mississippi State, I think, or was it first half, or whatever, wherever they're +4. Let me look real quick. Mississippi State, the number the guy gave me was +4. And why not take it? I mean, when you get a streak that huge, 1-15 against Georgia's been such slow starters. You don't want to play them in the second half. Ask Ole Miss, fourth quarter, absolute implosion. Otherwise, Ole Miss would still be undefeated. And I asked the guy, I said, it makes me wonder, what the heck is Kirby Smart's first 15 script? Is it just 15 line plunges and let's, see if we can move them off the line of scrimmage and then we'll call some real plays in the second half? So it is interesting. To your point, Andy, I wouldn't want to get involved with Georgia early. They've had a tendency to come from behind and do some damage, but Mississippi State's improving as well. Georgia's not a team I'm looking to run to the window and back. I found that 1-15 ATS number early very, very, to say the least, it's alarming. In baseball, guys always say, just follow streaks. If the Royals, for instance, have won 8 in a row, just keep betting them until they lose. In this case, just keep playing against Georgia early until you lose. They haven't shown any ability to score or create margin early in games.
Robbie, huge number for Alabama. They're at home, but they're taking on an LSU team that, fired the coach, and you sometimes get narratives surrounding that. But Bama's also coming off a game in which they kind of played with their food against South Carolina and escaped. I'm curious the way you look at this one with a number that we're seeing in the double digits.
Guys, this is the team, and you tell me, you're there right in the area all weekend long. This is the team that kind of was going to lead me to A&M as a play. I just remember the way Alabama moved the football with Ty Simpson in a stretch of that game, right? In the beginning, not so much, but then when push came to shove, it looked like they could do whatever they wanted in the passing game. Mizzou came back at the end, made it really close. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, that's the best offense that they've played all season long, Missouri. And can A&M do the same thing? Alabama has not been, let's face it, they haven't been the steamroller that we would expect them to be. They don't have much of a running game right now, Jam Miller or not. The running game hasn't really been there. It's been mostly Simpson through the air. But with the first point you brought up, Brenden, is the one that really makes the most sense here. Fire the coach, get a bump, play well your first time out. And in this instance, it's probably an even bigger bump for LSU because I mean, the more we hear about this team, they didn't like the coach. The kids are telling you, we don't even know who the coach is. They don't know who we are. He doesn't know our names. There was not a lot of positive things said by personnel about Brian Kelly on the way out. So I would figure that Alabama, being the rival that they are, LSU will be pumped, even though they're going on the road. May get their best effort of the season. The offense is bothersome because Nussmeier and company haven't done a thing all season long. But the market has bet this from 11 down to 10.5, a slight downturn here. But I could see LSU playing this game, probably one of their better games of the year, and sticking within that number.
Rob Vino of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show KTGR. On the Big 12 side, BYU, Texas Tech, big one there as well. And kind of similar to what we saw with Cincinnati and Utah last week. Big number that Utah had to cover, but they did it with relative ease. Texas Tech, again, with a 10.5 point number that they have to cover against an undefeated BYU team. Just how do you view this and how Vegas maybe even views BYU, even though they haven't lost a game yet?
Now, I'll preface it by saying this. I'm a big, big proponent of Texas Tech. The NIL money was well spent on the defensive side of the football. I've been around a long time, and I can't ever remember saying Texas Tech is, an upper echelon defensive team. It's always been offense, give up 40, score 42, whatever it takes. But they are a really, really good defensive team at this point in time. Ask Utah. Texas Tech went up there and destroyed that offense. But BYU's been the same thing. And again, credit to Bear Bachmeier, freshman quarterback for BYU, running around with number 47 on his jersey. It looks a little odd, but he's been a great dual threat, and he seems unflappable. I don't know that the venue's going to bug him. My first inclination here was that the points are too heavy. I don't want to give 10.5 to BYU. I'd rather take 10.5 in what could end up being a defensive battle. We've seen the total drop from 53.5 down to 51.5. Some people feel the same way. It's a hard game for me to bet, but if I had to, guys, I think I'd be on the BYU side plus the 10.5. They're just so fundamentally sound on both sides of the football. And in the trenches, they match up pretty good.
There's another game with a top 10 opponent going on the road this weekend that, I don't know, some people think could end up being an outright upset. I thought Iowa was overranked in the CFP, Rob, when it came out at number 20, and they weren't ranked in the AP. How do you view this for Oregon going into Kinnick, the Iowa of it all? Is there something here, or do you feel like Oregon's gonna show out as the better team in this one?
I think the latter, and I'll tell you where I started in this one, guys. Iowa plus 6.5, and the first thing I saw was the forecast for this game is miserable. Heavy rain all the way through, 96% chance of rain. At kickoff, dwindles down to like 68 by the end of the game, but damage is done by them. And I thought, well, I'm definitely going to play Iowa in this kind of weather with their running game and their defense. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, Oregon comes from Eugene, where it rains every day of their lives. And I can remember Pac-12 games where Oregon would welcome Southern California teams up there to play them in Eugene in this. So they're not – these are not adverse conditions for Oregon as well. That being said, these two teams rank second and third defensively inside the Big Ten Conference. But the separation in offense is crazy. I know Iowa's improved. I like Mark Gronowski, from South Dakota State. But there's too many ways for Oregon to move the football that Iowa doesn't have. If all's equal here, playing field, weather, defense, and the great separator is offense, then I'd be on Oregon. To win this game by 10 points, I don't think is too much. You have to avoid turnovers, but Dante Moore hasn't been a turnover machine by any stretch this year. So I would look to the Oregon side.
Robbie, what free pick do you like this weekend?
I could go NFL for you here, guys. I think Tampa Bay only minus 2.5 against New England. I know the world is on the New England bandwagon. Now, this is the way the NFL works, right? New England's about to get beat by 3 touchdowns because that's just the way the NFL works. But Tampa's coming off a bye. A couple of guys healthy receiver-wise now. I think you'll have both Godwin and Egbuke in there. As long as Baker has 2, that's usually good enough. You have to be able to run if you're New England, and you can't run on Tampa Bay. So we'll see what Drake May's made out of here. I just thought this price under a field goal was too much respect for New England. Give me Tampa Bay minus 2.5 on Sunday is the best bet for the show.
All right. Rob Vino of WagerTalk.com here on the Big Show KTGR. Great to chat with him. Go and see all of their great work over at WagerTalk.com and on Twitter at Rob Vino Sports. Thanks for coming on, Robbie. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. Get to the Missouri Arena tonight. Let's go, MIZ.
Hey, ZOU, first home game for Mizzou men's basketball tonight. Robbie knows. He's probably even looking at that point spread for tonight. I didn't even see what that was. From
25.5.
Okay, gotcha.
Is the number.
Sounds about right. So
don't ask me how I know.
Well, I'm sure you have ways of finding out. Under the Bus is coming up next. Second day in a row, we got to do it to Mac Rhodes for a completely different reason. We'll get to that next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon, I'm Ben Hermes, and this live local sports center is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. It's round rubber. Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Well, the Missouri Tigers are a day away from hosting their first home game in 4 weeks as they gear up to host the Texas A&M Aggies. According to ESPN's Pete Thamel, tight end Brett Norfleet has been ruled out for tomorrow's game due to a shoulder injury. Quarterback Bo Prabila is also listed as out for the game, which gives way to true freshman Matt Zollers to make his first career start. Top 25 throwdown Thoreau is set to kick off tomorrow at 2:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou basketball is back in action tonight from Mizzou Arena as they're set to host Southeast Missouri State in their home opener. Mizzou Hoops started the year on the road in Washington, D.C., beating Howard 88-66 on Monday. It was announced that Trent Pierce, Honor Boateng, and Trent Burns will all be unavailable for tonight's home opener. Tip-off for the Tigers' home opener is tonight at 7 o'clock. Mizzou Wrestling will host their annual Tiger-style invite from the Hearn Center on Sunday. Tigers will welcome University of Little Rock, Oklahoma, Purdue, and South Dakota State to this year's invite. The Tigers will also be honoring alumni and Olympic bronze medalist Jaden Cox before the competition, which is slated for 10 a.m. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is next.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking chilly temperatures tonight as we'll see partly to mostly cloudy skies and temperatures dropping down into the lower 40s. Tomorrow we'll see mostly cloudy skies. It's breezy. Temperatures getting up to the low 60s early in the day, falling throughout the afternoon. We'll have a chance for a spot shower or two. Tomorrow night it's much colder. We're dropping down to about 30 degrees with a few flurries possible. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Truman the Tiger. MIZ. Marching Mizzou. And of course, to the house! To the house! The traditions of Mizzou football live here. Join us Saturday. The Tigers return home to face Texas A&M. Our coverage begins at 12:30 on your home for Mizzou football. We are
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Hey, it's Andy and Brenden for Underdog, and with another jam-packed football weekend on the way, Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. You can select your entries and win money right now in Missouri. Andy, football picks this weekend. What do you like on Underdog?
Yeah, Brenden, I'm looking for the games in the NFL this weekend that could be the highest scoring. And I think that'll be the case for the Ravens-Vikings game. Derrick Henry, I think, will go higher than 79.5 rush yards for the game. And J.J. McCarthy did really well in his last one against the Lions. So I'll say he goes higher than 209.5 pass yards for this contest this weekend.
There you go, targeting big offensive performances in games that you think might see a lot of points. That's one way to do it on Underdog, where you can choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. And if you get your entries right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So download the app today, sign up with promo code KTGR to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code KTGR. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
This is Nevada Schauke with True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, and I'm the Exterior Director of Sales. In the construction industry, the last few years, we've had a roller coaster ride. One thing that has stayed pretty consistent or common is that vendors have continued to raise prices on materials. We have called up to collaborate with some of our large vendors that we work with to offer some year-end promotions. If you're looking to replace your roof, upgrade your deck to composite, replace your old worn-out windows and doors, give us a call. We also offer several financing options to meet most budgets. Your project must be purchased by the end of the year. This is a unique opportunity to save some money on your next home renovation.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com. My name is Nick Rasmussen, and I used Phyllis Nichols to get my life insurance. So I really wanted to get a term policy that would cover us for the next 20 years. For some reason, something happened to me, knowing that my wife was going to be taken care of. Life insurance is a really tricky topic, and working with Phyllis, she talked about all the ins and the outs, what I was getting, why should I do whole life or term, all those different types of products that are out there can be incredibly confusing. Phyllis will sit down and go through all of those with you. I just know that she's always got my best interest at heart, and everybody in town should use her the next time they're getting a quote.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-All RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, or sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
If you're craving something delicious, find your way to the Pasta Factory, where everything's made from scratch daily. Their fresh sauces, cakes, quiche, dressings, and soups are sure to tantalize your taste buds. And all pasta entrees are cooked, baked, and tossed to order. Don't leave without sampling those homemade desserts, lovingly crafted by Jason and Rob. Good. The Pasta Factory. Visit them at 3103 West Broadway Business Park, right in front of Walmart. Closed Mondays and Tuesdays. The Pasta Factory, where fresh meets flavor.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brenden on The Big Show on KTGR.
It's time to go under the bus on The Big Show.
Second day in a row that we have to throw Mac Rhodes under the bus, Brenden. This story kind of out of left field a little bit. It came from Outkick. They did some reporting on this that apparently Baylor responded to and didn't necessarily deny anything that was reported, but said that the matter was closed. So Mac Rhodes allegedly got into a verbal and physical altercation with a football player and an assistant coach. In particular, on September 20th, Baylor's playing Arizona State. Tight end Michael Trigg was wearing like a long sleeve yellow shirt underneath his jersey. He's protecting a brace that was on his shoulder. Mac Rhodes goes up to him, grabs him, and says, "What the bleep are you wearing that yellow shirt for?" And then a bunch of assistants get in the way. Trigg obviously needed some calming down. He went in and actually had a really good game, caught 2 touchdowns. After the game, Mac Rhodes goes and does kind of the same thing to an assistant coach who was visiting with his family at the time. And I'm not sure what it was about, but he's kind of grabbing him too and like jawing at him, whatever it was, according to the reports. Everything it was obtained by this reporter here, Trey Wallace of Outkick. Apparently there was an investigation by Baylor, and they said that it was unacceptable, but they consider the matter now closed. They've taken appropriate actions, everything like that. They've submitted a statement to Outkick on this. Man, that doesn't seem like something that should be closed right now. I don't know how much we trust Baylor investigations based on past history, but
fair.
But yeah, that's one that kind of took me by surprise a little bit.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Mac Rhodes, that is. It's just a weird one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what he did and kind of the guy himself,
I tend to agree with that. So earlier this week, kind of playing with, making a funny joke versus
he thought it was funny.
He thought it was. We didn't think it was. We thought he was showing some bias with his comments as the CFP chair earlier this week. And then this report comes out from something that happened back in September. Not a good look at the very best.
Under The
4-1 Mac Rhodes, and at the very worst, it might not even be done. We don't know. Baylor says it is, but how much do we believe it? I don't know.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
I knew it was going to happen eventually. Should have happened sooner, but it's going to happen this weekend. Harrison Mevis is going to get his shot in an NFL regular season game. Rams signed him to the practice squad this week, and they're going to elevate him as the kicker because Joshua Carty stinks. And Harrison Mevis is going to show how it's done in the NFL kicking game. Love to see this.
Yeah, and I don't know why they have to always be the team that gives our Mizzou guys a chance. But you know what? I'm over it. I'm glad. I would take him on any team, and I have added him in some fantasy leagues where he was available. I tried to add him in a league where we don't even use kickers. I was like, oh, that's right. I can't use him. He's not eligible for my lineup. But I tried anyway. I'm excited, man, for Harrison Mevis, and I hope he has an opportunity to shine in this game. And maybe he holds on to the job if he does so.
I sure hope so. This is a good chance to get your opportunity, and if he is able to take it and run with it, then you might see him sticking around. Maybe with that roster, maybe another one. Who knows? He'll get a chance to show his chops in the NFL kicking game. I said SEC. He's done that already. He's moving on to the next thing. We'll have our SEC rooting guide coming up next, though. Who are you rooting for in the SEC? It might be for Mizzou's sake. It might just be for who you actually want to see in the college football playoff for the SEC. Play it however you want to play it as you put together your own SEC rooting guide at 5:05, and then our picks of the week at 5:45 on The Big Show.
You could be right in the middle of celebrating a big win, and all of a sudden, bang, you've got ants on the counter or mice in the garage. Hi, I'm Mike Kelly. As someone who's called buzzer beaters and game winners for 3 decades, I think the best call that you can make is to Steve's Pest Control. I'm on the road a lot during the season, which is why I've signed up for Steve's 5-star pest control program. It's comforting to know that even when I'm not home, Steve's Pest Control is protecting my house from termites and other pests. Plus, the 5-star program keeps the pests at bay, controlling and eliminating them before they have a chance to enter your home. Scheduling is incredibly easy. You don't even have to be home. And if a pest problem pops up at any time, Steve's will perform a retreat for no additional charge. Call Steve's Pest Control today and ask about their 5-star pest control program so you can kick back, relax, and enjoy the game.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
On game day, every needs a. And every tailgate needs Kingsford charcoal. And a match. Whatever lot you're in, whatever you're grilling up for your fellow Tiger tailgaters, Kingsford charcoal is the official charcoal of Missouri football. Without it, you're just standing around in a parking lot. Since 1920, Kingsford has been proud to fire up your tailgates with friends and family. Kingsford.com.
From elegant weddings to corporate lunches with flavor and flair, Courtyard by Marriott Columbia brings the party and the pros. It's the home of Main Event Catering. And with every event, you'll get an award-winning chef, full banquet staff, and drop-and-go options for any size crowd. And the event center holds up to 300 guests with 8 flexible rooms. If you need help, there's a Marriott certified wedding coordinator on staff too. Book now by calling 573-443-8000.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR
is Sports Center. I'm Ed Bankin. It's another busy weekend coming up in the NFL, and several teams are again dealing with injuries. The Colts will be without defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. He's going on injured reserve. He has been dealing with a neck injury. New England will be without running back Ramondre Stevenson and receiver Kayshon Boutte when they face the Buccaneers in Tampa on Sunday. Jaden Daniels remains out for Washington with a dislocated elbow, but the Commanders' quarterback will not need surgery. Meanwhile, the Raiders have fired special teams coordinator Tom McMahon. The move comes after a costly block punt and a loss to the Broncos last night. Earlier on ESPN Radio, Rich Eisen on the Rich Eisen Show said the Raiders need to move on from Geno Smith.
And at the end of the day, the Raiders now sitting here at 2-7, I think it's apparent the quarterback of the future is not on the roster. It could be a top 10 pick again. So they'll have an opportunity to get the next quarterback if there is one in the draft.
College football news, according to ESPN's Pete Thamel, number 22 Missouri will be without tight end Brett Norfleet against their game against number 3 Texas A&M on Saturday. He is out with a shoulder injury.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
From Faro.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brenden on KTGR.
So who else are you rooting for other than Mizzou this weekend in college football? Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. Whether you think Mizzou is going to win this weekend and therefore revive their college football playoff hopes, and so you want to see some other results break Mizzou's way so that they can try to climb back into that race, or if you just want to, see chaos. Let us know your SEC rooting guide. Call or text us with it, 573-875-KTGR. We'll do that in a few minutes. We'll have our picks of the week at 5:40. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Mizzou hosting number 3 Texas A&M tomorrow afternoon on Faroe Field, 2:30 kickoff. No Brett Norfleet, according to Pete Thamel, still dealing with a shoulder injury and not going to be available so much for day-to-day. But I don't know. It's going to have to be without him. Jude James looked good at Vanderbilt. Maybe he can show up in this game. Jordan Harris, whatever the case may be, the Tigers will need all hands on deck as Matt Zollers makes his first ever collegiate start and tries to take down the Aggies as 7-point underdogs. I don't know. There's a lot on paper that tells you this could be a rough one, but the obstacle becomes the path, et cetera, et cetera. Go win a football game.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Shout out to Kelly Harper and Mizzou women's basketball. They won a game last night, took down Tulane on the road, 77-69. Solid win there. Mizzou men's hoops, home opener tonight, taking on SEMO. Mizzou is minus 25.5 on the spread. Tigers will be without Trent Pearson and Honor Boateng once again for this one.
Number 3.
Cardinals did some tidying up with their 40-man roster yesterday. Michael Ciani, Rodri Munoz claimed on waivers by the Braves and Reds, respectively. Former first-round pick Zach Thompson and late summer waiver claim Anthony Veneziano were both outrighted off the 40-man. Veneziano elected free agency. Derek Gould this afternoon suggesting that Thompson cannot do so after spending the year on the Major League IL. Maybe more clarity for that one in the days ahead. Brian Torres added to the 40-man after a 905 OPS in AAA last year. More names will be added and probably subtracted in the coming weeks as the Cardinals have a lot of guys they do have to protect from Rule 5. Other Cardinals news, Burley wins the Utility Silver Slugger. Several Royals are up for those awards, which will be announced in the AL later tonight.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
The Blues benched Jordan Kyrou yesterday, and it kind of worked. The Blues beat the Sabres 3-0 last night in Buffalo to snap the losing streak. Jim Montgomery clearly wanted to send a message. We were kind of curious what that message exactly was, but it seemingly worked, and hopefully the reception of it lasts a little bit longer than just one game. If they get Kyrou back in there, play with a similar style of what they had last night, maybe they can turn things around yet.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap.
Awesome NFL news as Harrison Mevis will reportedly kick for the Rams on Sunday per Sean McVay, beating out struggling Josh Carty for the job, at least for this week in San Francisco. Yeah, I picked up Mevis in all my fantasy leagues where he was available. Even tried to do it in some where we don't use kickers. The system wouldn't let me. But, hey, I'm pumped for the thicker kicker.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. Want to set an over-under for made field goals for Harrison Mevis?
So tough. The Rams are favored at San Francisco. It's tough to know, what the game situation will be, but I hope he makes all his kicks. I hope he gets a chance to boot one for maybe 50 plus because We know he's capable of doing that. So especially now with like the NFL is kind of very like nerfed to favor kickers these days, where they get their own special ball now. They didn't get to used to like do it up the way that they want. And now they can really kind of bend the rules a little bit with that within the rules. They can just do more with the ball that they use. Yeah. And we're seeing guys kick from 60 plus. Of course, we know Mevis did that at Mizzou without a special NFL ball. But yeah, I'm hoping he gets a chance and can impress it. It might only take one good game for the Rams to go, all right, enough with the Cardi guy. If this guy's making kicks and making long ones, then he's our guy. So I really hope Mevis has a good showing in that one.
At the 49ers. We'll see if he can kick well over in Santa Clara. That'll be a game that we have on our picks of the week here very soon. So be tuned in for that at 5:40. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. All right, let's put together our SEC rooting guide. How are you doing this, Brenden? Are you still doing it to help Mizzou out, or just with no other allegiances in mind?
Yeah, I mean, Mizzou's always in the back of my head, but the most important thing for Mizzou is Mizzou. You just have to get that win, and then, you know, other things become interesting. I think when I look outside the SEC, I'll be rooting for fewer playoff teams, if that makes sense. Like whether it's Mizzou or not, I might be rooting for more SEC teams to get in and see what some of our folks from our conference end up with. And of course, right now, as we look at it, Mizzou's still eligible for one of those spots. So you may need some help. So from the outside perspective, that may be the way that I go about it. In the SEC, it's going to be based on just how I feel, probably more so than anything.
All right. Well, I'll say I still go with the mantra I took. What was it? Last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Yes.
Yeah, if Mizzou can't be 10-2, nobody can. Drag everybody down. I don't want to see a bunch of SEC playoff teams if Mizzou can't be in.
Fair enough.
I'm just going to be like, no, Georgia, lose to Mississippi State. Go do it. Yeah, I'll root for that.
It's a 9.5 point spread. The number has creeped up throughout the week.
Yeah, Georgia started around, 7 or so?
I saw it at 7, yeah.
Golly.
I don't know with that one. I think rooting for Mississippi State, though, is perfectly valid. And at home, they've been very good against the spread. 8-1 overall, 5-0 at home against the spread. So they might be able to keep it close. And they just haven't been able to get over the hump, right? They took Tennessee to overtime. They took Texas to overtime, but couldn't close a deal on either of those. Yeah, I would say rooting for Mississippi State, certainly valid. That's a great underdog type of vibe for that game. And I don't know, how many wins do they have? They're probably still hunting for bowl eligibility, I would think.
Mississippi State, they're 5-4. Next one puts them
so
there.
That would get them there. Get them there before we play them. We don't need them to be.
Yeah, they're going to need a win against a ranked team right now, either Georgia, at Mizzou, or Egg Bowl against Ole Miss. That's all they have left. So,
okay.
Like, they're going to have to pull an upset somewhere in order to
Might as well be here.
Right. So I think that's what you root for, no doubt. Even if you are not trying to really help out Mizzou, like Georgia, just hang another loss to them. I would,
because they still have to play Georgia Tech. I know it's not a conference game,
and Texas.
yeah, they are no lock for the playoff, and it'll be interesting. Like that's not a loss. Mississippi State is not like a loss that the committee will probably respect very much. So I would argue. Texas took that loss to Florida, kind of similar. But could Georgia, who have they beaten? They beat Ole Miss. I just kind of wonder what the quality is as it stacks up. A 2-loss Georgia, where that would fall between Texas and Oklahoma, who are both on bye this weekend. So they won't have any influence over that side of the ledger. Do you think Georgia losing to Mississippi State would drop below that 11-12 range, or they stay above?
I think so.
It wouldn't be a good look. 9.5 point favorite. That's a big number to then lose outright. So that could hurt them.
Georgia's won big games. They've beaten Ole Miss. They went to Tennessee and won. Only loss is a 3-point loss at home to Alabama. It is a good resume. I don't know how much further you should drop them behind Texas and OU, or as I should say, OU and Texas. OU should be ahead of Texas. But I they would still be in striking distance. Like winning the rest of their schedule, I think no doubt puts them in.
Georgia.
They're named Georgia and they're 10-2. Yes. Welcome to the college football playoff.
Because you've got 7 versus 8 this weekend in the Big 12. Somebody's got to lose there. So Georgia Now, that would be interesting. Like, BYU loses to Tech.
Yeah.
They would be a one-loss team at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia was higher before it started, but BYU's loss, a lot more understandable. They would be losing as a 10-point underdog, whereas Georgia would be losing as a 10-point favorite. That could be interesting how those two would line up. But I think you're right. I mean, Georgia has, you said Texas remaining and Georgia Tech. Those are two top 15, top 20 teams.
Right.
So Georgia would get a boost for winning those two games. 10-2, Georgia would be very much safe, I think, with everything that we would expect to happen around them. Yeah.
Well, I don't even think it even matters relatively for what even BYU does in that situation. Like, because BYU could still be ranked around that area. The best win is Utah at the moment. If they lose to Texas Tech and let's say it's close, then that's the only loss going on the road to that place. I mean, if Georgia had a loss at Mississippi State, that absolutely, I think, looks worse.
I think it does. Georgia's higher today than BYU. So,
Right, true.
Where did that?
Yeah.
They'll probably be next to each other in the rankings.
Yeah.
Which side is which could be compelling, because again, that would be a much worse loss for Georgia, but they are ranked higher and they are named Georgia. And people look at BYU, they're up there because of their undefeated record, less so because of the depth of their resume. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I know it's not SEC, but let's jump to that. Do you have an angle for BYU, Texas Tech?
Yeah, I'm rooting for Texas Tech.
What's that? Just BYU has gotten away with it for too long and they need to stop.
Yeah, but there's no way that this can continue to happen for BYU. And I think if that happens, then I could very easily see them losing to TCU. I could see them going to Cincinnati and losing. They could completely fall out of this picture just with one loss here. And honestly, I would like to see that because I don't think they are deserving of being in this field. There are other Big 12 teams that I think are more deserving than they are.
It's interesting. They're the only team from ACC or Big 12 that we look at and we're like, you aren't an undefeated team. You're not going 12-0.
Right.
Like Georgia Tech faltered. We thought that about them and they've fallen off. Like everybody else is like, you might be a good team, but that's the one where it's like you go 12-0 and then you lose a conference championship. We can't leave you out. I mean, there's not going to be an argument to leave you out. That's the concern there.
Right.
BYU dropping one, they'll need, I think, the conference championship to probably get over the hump. Even if they're 11-1, it could be challenging.
Yeah, I do think there will end up being two Big 12 teams this year, one ACC team. Like it basically flipped from last year.
Yeah, Utah is high enough to still make that. Like if Utah runs the table, I don't know who the matchup would be in the Big 12 championship. But like, let's say Utah goes 10-2, wins it, so that the opponent that they beat maybe only still has 2 losses. Both of them might get in. Utah being where they are at 13 with 2 losses, I think, shows that the committee is at least valuing the top of the Big 12 more so than the top of the ACC.
Yeah, I think that's right. We'll see whether it holds up for the rest of the season. But I'd say Texas Tech in that one. Just
okay.
I think Texas Tech deserves to win that conference a little more than anybody else.
I think they're the better team. Let's get everybody on an even playing field.
Right.
Everybody's got a loss other than like the dominant teams, Ohio State, A&M, and Indiana.
Yeah.
Just the blue bloods.
Exactly. Indiana, the long time blue bloods.
Do you root for them to go down? They're 2 touchdown favorites at Penn State.
Nah.
I don't either. I don't really think I need to see that.
I want to see him win. Penn State. I want to see Penn State like just lose and not even have a bowl game to go to. It's not out of the question. They're 3-5.
Are you bitter about what could be happening between Missouri and Penn State? Is that weighing in here at all? A lot of people think.
You can think that way if you want, but
I'm not necessarily saying that's a reason to root here or against. But
yeah, but either way. No, I know people talk. We'll see how much they keep talking after the game this weekend. All right, back to the SEC. Here's let's bring LSU Alabama to the table.
Okay.
Which one will you take from that matchup?
All right, so this is the biggest spread of the weekend in the Southeastern Conference at 10.5. I'm looking at it right now. Alabama's got the loss to Florida State, and that's it still.
Yep.
And they're perfect in conference play. If they were to somehow lose this, is there a path to them experiencing chaos, which would be more amusing than anything?
There absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have to host Oklahoma. That'll be right before Mizzou plays OU.
Right. And then the Iron Bowl is at Auburn this year.
At Auburn, and
yeah.
Auburn's got a defense,
Right.
and they don't have the coach that stinks. Again, I don't know how Auburn scores enough points to beat Alabama, unless it's with defensive touchdowns. But yeah, it'd be fun to see LSU win, just because then we'd really be talking about a chaotic potential sprint to the finish here in college football. Because then with Bama, you go, all right, you've got 2 losses. You obviously can't lose again, but they still have a path to the SEC championship game at 7-1 if they don't lose again. And then like that gets interesting, because I'm sure Alabama at 10-3 probably gets in, but that would put to the test this theory of like, you're not going to be punished for making your conference championship game. Losing to LSU at home as a 10.5 point favorite, Alabama would have to take a tumble this week in the rankings.
I think so.
Obviously they're going to benefit from the fact that 7 plays 8. So you're not going to drop behind 2 of those. You're going to drop behind 1 of them. If Georgia wins, you drop behind Georgia. But like Oregon has to play at number 20. You probably drop behind Oregon. Oregon's going to be impressive. The committee will like that win at Iowa if it happens. Notre Dame plays Navy, so that's not an impressive win, but that'll be an interesting angle there.
Yeah.
That would be the line, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that Alabama would drop below Texas and Oklahoma because of the name value, and they're higher up than Georgia. It would be like that Georgia conversation, similar in terms of like the disappointment of a loss, I think, except for, I guess your point, like with Georgia and Alabama both, they would be big time favorites that would lose. And so you're going to be punished more than the Big 12 loser
I think
potentially would be. But I think they would be in that 11-14 range, and it would be pending what Georgia does, pending what the BYU outcome is. But it's like, what if they were 13 and there's not as much chaos the rest of the season? So Alabama goes into the SEC championship game at 11 and loses it. And 11 might be the spot you need, and that might not even be good enough if the ACC champ is ultimately not ranked in the top 12.
Right.
That would be fascinating. 10-3 Bama, who loses this weekend, wins out, loses the SEC championship game, would be very fascinating to me. Because now we got numbers to put by this. Like, we're not just guessing anymore,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to try and parse that out, but
I hope it happens just so we can.
Yeah.
I won't defend them. I won't defend them at that point.
No, I'll go. Your
losses would be heinous. Florida State and LSU. Those are not good losses this year.
Right. And last year we did not have, Georgia had 2 losses, did they? Last year when they were playing in the SEC championship game?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Which I guess they eventually got the 1 seed, or they got the auto bid because they won the game. So it didn't necessarily matter in that point. But like, there is not a huge, they could have been left out if they had lost that game to Texas. Like, I would have loved to see that, just to see how the committee would have treated it. Do you leave Georgia in as a 10-3 team?
But they were ranked 6, I think, going into the Texas game. Alabama, there's a realm in which they're ranked closer to, and like, they would have an impressive win over OU. They could jump that week, but they'd be ranked closer to 10-11, I think, if it happened that way.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, I'll root for LSU.
Yeah,
though.
I'm going LSU.
Give me chaos. I'm still with you on that one.
Auburn, Vanderbilt. Auburn, I think, right?
It's a fool's errand, but you can.
Well, yeah, I know.
It'll be, I like the under.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think
the 45 and a half. 45 and a half.
If I may, I don't know how Texas let Vandy off the hook, because that game, if you watched it, you're like, Vandy's exposed. Told you, not that good.
Yeah.
And then you look at the final score, and the fact that Vandy should have recovered the onside kick. They had a guy with a paw on it, and he kind of reached out to the sideline and then was like worried that his momentum would carry him out, the Vandy kid. And so he didn't go for it, and his teammate did have his momentum carry him out of bounds. I think if the kid that was on his belly would have just tried to bear paw it, Vandy might have won that football game. But they had no business being in it. Texas just stopped playing defense in the fourth quarter. I wonder if Auburn, again, another coach that has been fired, I think their defense doesn't need the dead cat bounce. Like, their defense is legitimately good. I don't know how even a new coach gets whoever they start at quarterback to produce points in that football game. But I'll root for Auburn for the lulls, with the caveat being like, if Vandy does happen to win, we will get potentially that Vandy Tennessee game for a right to be 10-2, and conceivably, at least in Vandy's case, they're high enough up in the rankings it would be for a playoff spot. Tennessee, I think, is done, right? Because they lost their third game already. So like that's
right, yeah.
That would be a game where Vandy would need it, and Tennessee would just be trying to play spoiler, which only gets set up if Vandy keeps winning until that point.
Do you care about Florida, Kentucky at all?
I don't. I would like to see Kentucky win it.
I would too.
You missed Wednesday's show where I let Billy commandeer your SEC tiers.
Yeah, he did a great job.
He did a great job. He had 5 tiers and I had 8. He was like, yeah, these teams it's not worth parsing them out. And I'm like, let's talk about the minutia. But I moved Auburn all the way to the bottom because I was so disgusted with them. Kentucky, I don't think is particularly good, but like if they can beat Florida, it gets to be like we look back on their season a little bit differently. I don't really care. I like the under in that game too.
Here's the thing: I don't think Mark Stoops gets fired,
even if they lose out. Like if they lose to Louisville and lose to Florida,
I think he stays
because this is a bad year to be Kentucky and try to hire a football coach.
It is, yeah. And look, the best thing he has going for him, well, it's that, but it's also the fact that he's not the most important coach on campus.
Yeah.
So
it's Mr. Pope.
Yeah. So you can hang out still. I think. Go Navy.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Although
fine.
We said that about last week, I think we had almost the identical reaction about Boston College. We're like, yeah, sure, beat Notre Dame, and they were kind of close for a while.
Man. I could have had it if they had.
That was
not turned it over that one time.
12-7 at half. I mean, nobody scored in the first quarter.
They were making it ugly.
But yeah, I think Notre Dame's gonna probably bounce back from that performance here. But yeah, sure, go Navy always.
And
That's
then I'll say Oregon. I'll root for Oregon.
Yeah, I am too. I feel aggrieved with the Iowa being ranked above Mizzou thing. I think that could be sneaky. Iowa's plus 6.5. I think it could be a sneaky game. But, we talked with Rob Vino. The rain should not impact Oregon negatively. Their offense should be that much better than Iowa. And so they should probably be just fine. But yeah, this is an example where I'm not rooting for the underdog, for the upset, because I want to see Iowa out of my rankings.
And like the fact that they're 20 as a 2-loss team,
it's a joke.
Like, and if they beat Oregon, like the committee's going to want to boost them up.
They'll be in the top 15.
Yeah.
If Mizzou wins and Iowa wins this week, I don't know who will be ranked higher, and that's going to piss me off because I was already the higher ranked team. So you could see them just kind of moving them up similarly, even though I think A&M would be a better win than Oregon. But they're similar. I can at least be objective about that. Anything else stand out to you?
No, that's really it. Like I want
to see all the relevant ACC teams lose because I don't believe in the league. So like Wake Forest on the road at Virginia, Cal going to Louisville, that's fine. Any of those could happen.
Right.
Clemson, FSU. It's not for CFP, but who do you just want to see suffer more?
Oh, Clemson.
I think
I want to see Florida State win that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So who else are you rooting for this weekend? 573-875-KTGR. Tell us with a call or a text here on The Big Show with Andy and Brenden. Picks of the week coming up soon. We'll get some of your calls and texts here very soon here on The Big Show, KTGR.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
It affects hundreds of millions of people each year. The need for diabetes awareness is greater now than ever before. It's National Diabetes Awareness Month, and since diabetes is the leading cause of amputation, Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center reminds you that they offer several treatments, including their hyperbaric oxygen treatment to help prevent the worst-case scenario.
Real healing starts here. Boone Hospital, Wound Healing Center.
Learn more at boone.health today.
Hey, y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. November is the month for giving thanks. But here's something we're not thankful for. Ground turkey. But seriously, have y'all ever tried to make a burger out of that meat? No matter what you do, it is dry. You know what you will be thankful for? Our famous Billiards burger. No turkey required.
Looking on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway.
No turkey burgers were made in the making of this commercial.
It's that time of year again. Hit a deer, win a cow with FPP Body Shop. Listen, I'm not saying actively crash your vehicle into a deer, but if you do hit a deer, FPP will ease that stress with a $20 gift card to Fulton Worst House. And you'll be entered in to win the grand prize, a $500 gift card.
Man, I tell you what, winner last year had a cookout with every meat known to man. He all right?
Yeah, Billy. The winner will be popular again this year, too. With FPP, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Hit a deer, win a cow. FPPBodyShop.com.
You put in the fitness work, but just aren't seeing the results. In this month's issue of Inside Columbia magazine, learn how to be better able to meet your goals. Read about a brand new deli that really has Columbia chirping. And if you're looking for a new food spot or would like to see how an old favorite is faring, check out our lineup of best tastes in the dining guide. It's all inside Columbia magazine. Get your copy today at break time convenience stores or have it delivered at InsideColumbia.net.
Winter's on the way, so now's the time to plan your tree pruning. Here's why. In winter, trees are dormant, which means they're less risk of disease. Plus, without all those leaves, it's way easier to see exactly what needs trimming. The educated, licensed, insured, and experienced crew at Advanced Tree Solutions knows how to protect your trees and your wallet. But spots are filling fast, so schedule your winter pruning today at AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com. Advanced Tree Solutions LLC, your tree's best friend.
Hello, I'm Doug Frank with Frank Hazelrig Cattle Company, inviting you to join us for our 13th annual Family Values Production Sale on Sunday, November 16th. Along with 80 performance-tested bulls, we're also offering 90 head of young, high-quality Angus females. There's a lot of talk today about the need and the tremendous opportunity to rebuild the U.S. cow herd. Whether you're just looking to expand your commercial herd or add a new elite donor female to your program, you'll find that opportunity at FHCC. Our Better Over Bigger genetic focus emphasizes reduced feed and input costs, as well as key fertility and productivity traits. In today's high-cost environment, these genetic combinations are winners. If you aren't a cattle producer, please help us celebrate with your best burger or steak to support the family farmers that provide you with healthy, high-quality, and great-tasting beef. Request a catalog and preview videos of the sale offering at fhccbeef.com.
Tired of calling Andy and Brenden? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Well, Andy's on assignment here for a few minutes, so producer Ben and I will hang out together with you here. Picks of the week still upcoming later on in the show. Ben, it's it's less than 24 hours away, and really just about maybe 24 hours away from us finding out the result of the game between Mizzou and Texas A&M. Let me ask you, what's your confidence level right now in the Tigers going in as a touchdown underdog?
Reluctantly to say, maybe not as high as what it should be, and it's definitely after the Vanderbilt game. I was at similar to what you and Andy said on yesterday's show. My confidence level was an all-time low after the Vandy game. I was thinking, oh, well, here we go. This is where it all kind of starts to crumble down. And as time has passed, it's gotten a little bit better. I've gotten a little bit more confident into the game, but still not crazy confident. The one thing that I can kind of lean on maybe as well, our defense has played at least serviceable against mobile quarterbacks. We've seen that we've been able to attain them. I think Marcel Reed's another beast, but I think
he
it's
can play.
At least going to be a little serviceable there. And the other thing is Matt Zollers, they don't really have a whole lot of tape on him, especially even from high school. They didn't really play his senior year at all. Texas A&M only really has less than a half of tape on him. So I think that could bode decent or well in Mizzou's favor, but still I think that A&M they do a lot of things really good. This is what you guys were saying yesterday on the show, and I 100% agree with you on that. And I'm maybe not as confident as what I should be going into this one.
And I don't even think there's a should be about it, man, because look, I think you almost have to be a Mizzou fan or a Mizzou homer a little bit to believe that Mizzou's going to win this game, just laying out what the two teams have done not only this year, but in recent years. Like, these two teams played last year. I know that it was a different quarterback for A&M than the one Mizzou is expecting, which is the one that they'll play tomorrow. If Connor Wegman comes out of that tunnel tomorrow, I'm going to be pretty upset because he's a quarterback for Houston right now. But nevertheless, like, Mizzou hasn't won these types of games in recent years, and they weren't even close to this team. They didn't really look like they belonged on the same field as A&M last year. But I really felt like if you play that game at College Station 100 times, I don't think Mizzou loses like that 100 times. I think they came out and had a couple things go against them early in that game that they lost their resolve. They lost their will and their belief in themselves, and they got sloppy. And it happened quick, and they succumbed to the environment. But I would say that, man, if that Luther Burden touchdown doesn't get taken off the board, I don't think Mizzou wins at A&M last year, but I don't think they lose like they did. I don't think they get blanked and, just get totally crushed. So I would say that the two teams last year were closer on paper than they ended up showing to be on the field. I think this year, they're number 3 versus number 22. I think that they're not necessarily a 19-team gap between these two in terms of the capabilities of them, but we only have the data that we have to go on so far from the year. And this is going to be another data point, but Mizzou played in top 10 teams, has lost twice in devastating fashion. We know that the challenge is there when it comes to what's a third string quarterback going to bring to the table. We know that A&M has been otherworldly offensively. But you know what? That's what everybody was saying about Vanderbilt before. And frankly, since, they still scored 31 against Texas on the road in that game. So while I think that there's a lot on paper and a lot of statistical analysis that could lead you to believe that Mizzou's going to be in trouble in this game, you do probably have to look for some that makes you think Mizzou can win it. And I think if you do look, you find out that Texas A&M has given up passing yards in their last 3 games, 240 per. You find out that, there have been chunk plays on the ground against this defense. You find out that they have given up about 36.5 or so points per game over their last 3 road games. Now, a lot of it was turnover related in LSU and the fact that it was just a blowout. And so if you give up a score here or there, it just didn't affect the outcome. But they gave up 42 at Arkansas. That's a fact. They gave up 40 at Notre Dame. That's a fact. They gave up big yards to those teams. They gave up a ton of rushing yards to those teams. I believe the Arkansas running back had like 147 yards on the ground on 16 carries. So there's a part of me that goes, man, screw the prognosticators, screw the spread. Forget about the reasons Mizzou can't win. Forget about that Norfleet's not available, that Purbuella's not available. Just like go be the best version of yourself as an offense. I'm pretty much done asking Kirby Moore to have great games because we haven't seen it from him yet this year, and I'm not sure we're gonna. But if he could have a good game and could put Zollers in position to succeed, and that O-line, I started the week by saying it'll be the most important thing, and that's how I'm going to end the week. It's going to be the most important thing. Block for Zollers, give him a pocket. Block for Hardy. Don't let him get touched behind the line of scrimmage. And let's figure out what are the most successful types of run plays that we can run with Hardy and Jamal Roberts, and run them with frequency, play a little ball control, and defense go be great. Like, I don't have anything really that I want to say about the defense in terms of like how to do it, because largely, Ben, they did it against Vanderbilt. Yeah, maybe it's not realistic to think that what they did at Vandy will translate to this mobile quarterback, but man, that's what I'm clinging to as I'm predicting a Mizzou win and finding some way to get it done. I don't know if that's realistic, Ben, but that's what I'm sitting on right now.
It's fine to work with. And I think one final point to make is I think Drink might thrive in this environment. I think that he likes that.
I agree.
Backs are against the wall. Norfleet's out. You got a third string quarterback. Everything's going against you. I think he likes that kind of junkyard dog mentality. Okay, the world's against us. We'll go get it done. And I think that the players around him and under him will rally around that. And I think that's a momentum point and something that Texas A&M's definitely going to have to keep an eye on as they head into this one.
And I think the players played for Bo Purbuella and they love the guy, but I also think that some guys in that wide receiver core might go, man, I might get mine a little bit this time. Like, I don't know if Zollers will be a better passer than Bo. I know that's been the narrative. That's kind of what you're hoping to see, because if not, I don't see how we win the game. Like, that's the way a lot of people think. But I could see a realm in which those wide receivers are a little bit antsy and eager to go, man, what if Zollers dimes me up and I can make a big play to help us in this game? That can be a momentum switch if we see Zollers start to dot it up and get the ball to his receivers, his weapons, because they've got weapons. You know, I want to see Alubade in this game. I want to see that connection with Jude James. We've analyzed it to death, and it's just going to play out the way that it plays out. But I'm hopeful, man. I'm hopeful, and I'm also a little bit terrified. Chris is texting in, and you can text in with your score predictions, 573-875-KTGR. Chris said Mizzou Iowa bowl game again this year. LOL. I don't think they try to do that, Ben, where they pair teams up against one another, and I hope not, because I have had enough of just, I don't know. I'm not anti-Iowa. We beat them. It happened. They're Iowa. They're up there. I see you. I just don't need to really see that matchup on the gridiron again this year, I don't think.
I agree. I mean, throw them up against someone else. I bet Iowa might want to play someone else. Maybe they do want to get another shot at the Tigers again, go back through. Okay, we'll try it. But like you said, it's happened. It's in the past. We're both black and gold. It was cool to have the whole stadium be black and gold for a whole bowl game, but it doesn't need to be every year.
Yeah, beyond that, I'm good with it on that front. Good text coming in from Graham. He mentioned that Bama wouldn't drop that far because their resume is insane, as we were kind of talking about where Bama could drop if they lose to LSU. They do have a very good resume, but their losses, I think, would eventually have to be considered. I mean, Florida State's a bad loss. LSU in 2025 is a bad loss if they should suffer it, especially at home as a 10.5-point favorite. So again, just looking at Georgia, we assume would beat Mississippi State. This is again the hypothetical where Bama loses this weekend to LSU, and they're not supposed to. Bama would drop below Georgia. They'd drop below Ole Miss, who plays Citadel. It'd be Ole Miss at one loss. They would drop. They drop below the winner of BYU Texas Tech. They drop below Oregon if Oregon beats Iowa. Notre Dame is about the line, I think, and that would put them at about 9. So maybe not as low as the Texas Oklahoma conglomerate, but who's to say there? We'll see. I think the wins, to Graham's point, could carry him. This question: would Mizzou hop Utah with a win over A&M? I don't think so. I think Utah is too highly positioned. I don't think Mizzou would necessarily even hop Virginia or Louisville. The one feather in the cap could be that the win over A&M would be better than anything that Vanderbilt can claim, because their best right now is a win over LSU. I worry that we wouldn't even have Vanderbilt because of that thing that Andy talked about yesterday, Ben, the head-to-head. We lost to Vandy, so that's a good spot to park them. That would be my concern. But, you just got to win. You got to win and then worry about that stuff, don't you think?
I absolutely agree. And when your back's against the wall, you have 2 losses like you are Mizzou right now. You can't really worry about too many other teams. You can't worry about anybody else. You got to worry about yourselves. You got 4 games in front of you. You got to win all 4 to try and just put yourself in the best position.
So we will take our break and then get you to our picks of the week right here on The Big Show, KTGR.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Ben Hermes, and this live local sports center is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's around rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. The Missouri Tigers are a day away from their first home game in 4 weeks as they gear up to host Texas A&M. According to ESPN's Pete Thamel, tight end Brett Norfleet has been ruled out for Saturday's game due to a shoulder injury. Quarterback Bo Previlla is also listed as out, which gives way for true freshman Nat Zollers to make his first career start. The top 25 throwdown at Faroe is set to kick off at 2:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou basketball is back in action tonight for the first time at Mizzou Arena this season as they are set to host Southeast Missouri State in the home opener. Mizzou Hoops started the year in Washington, D.C., and they beat Howard 88-67. It was announced that Trent Pierce and Honor Boateng and Trent Burns would be unavailable for tonight's home opener. Tigers will tip off at 7 o'clock. And Mizzou Wrestling will host their annual Tiger-style invite at the Hearn Center this Sunday. Tigers welcome Little Rock, Oklahoma, Purdue, and South Dakota. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is next.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking chilly temperatures tonight as we'll see partly to mostly cloudy skies and temperatures dropping down into the lower 40s. Tomorrow we'll see mostly cloudy skies. It's breezy. Temperatures getting up to the low 60s early in the day, falling throughout the afternoon. We'll have a chance for a spot shower or two. Tomorrow night it's much colder. We're dropping down to about 30 degrees with a few flurries possible. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Buckeye is fired up for Tiger football as Mizzou takes on Texas A&M November 8th. Gear up for unbeatable deals on everything you need for tailgating, fall essentials, and all things farm, ranch, auto, home, and pet. Join the Buckeye Buyers Club for even more savings and keep the winning spirit going all season long. Buckeye, your farm, ranch, auto, home, pet, and outdoor living destination. Join us live from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 3300 Paris Road, Columbia. Go Tigers!
Some things just go together, like salt and pepper. And now, thanks to Lee's Tires, front-end alignments and new tires do too. Now through the end of the month, when you buy 4 new tires at Lee's, you'll get a front-end alignment for free. Buy 4 new tires, get a front-end alignment for free, only at Lee's. Salt and pepper, tires and alignments, and for almost 50 years, it's been Lee's Tires and their customers. Some things really do go better together. Offer good through the end of the month.
Lee's Tire Company is round for you. Ooh, see Lee's.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the Big Show on KTGR.
We're back here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy, Brenden, and producer Ben ready for another edition of the Picks of the Week. Well, Brenden won again. This has got to stop. We've got to. I've borne too much of this. With your winning 32, 20, and 3. That's a good mark, man.
It's like a really good mark, and I'm uncomfortable about it.
That might come back eventually once it comes around. But 3-1-1 last week. Good job.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, and you know what I'll say is I felt really good about the SEC this year, just kind of seeing these games. I don't this week. I don't feel like I am particularly certain about any of the games in the SEC, so this could be a week where you guys are able to get to me. Just off the top, I'll put that out there as an opportunity to maybe make up some ground here.
All right, well, Brenden is still in the season lead. I am behind him. I went 2-3 last week, 26 and 29. Producers have dropped to the bottom, 1-3-1 last week. They're 24, 29, and they have 2 pushes this year. This week, we have 8 college football games, 8 NFL games. In college football, BYU at Texas Tech, Georgia at Mississippi State, Indiana at Penn State, Oregon at Iowa, Auburn at Vanderbilt, LSU at Alabama, Navy at Notre Dame, and Texas A&M at Mizzou, of course. Then in the NFL, Berlin-Germany game, Falcons and Colts playing that one. Then Patriots at Bucks, Ravens at Vikings, Jaguars at Texans, Rams at 49ers, Lions at Commanders, Steelers at Chargers, and the Monday night game, Eagles at the Packers. Who goes first, Brenden?
I will give the producers the opportunity, and then Andy can go second. I will bring up the rear going third because I really don't feel super strongly about anything, so maybe I'll just fade you guys this week.
Okay, well, let's see how that goes. Fair. Producer Ben, start us off.
All right, first pick, I'll go to the college realm. Give me Indiana. They've looked like absolute world beaters. Penn State looks like a shell of themselves. Penn State has proven nothing to me after firing James Franklin, and Indiana has proven a lot to me, especially with the eye test, the way they've just mowed through teams, no matter if it's at home, on the road, doesn't matter. They've been mowing through them. I don't know if there could be too much of a line that I wouldn't take them on the spread on right now. They look really good.
It's -14. It's a big number, but I don't. This is not a night game, I believe. I think this is either 11 a.m. Central or somewhere in the mid-afternoon window.
We can find that for you here.
Yeah, I think it's an early game. But so if it were a night game, I would think about taking the other side. But I don't think in this scenario I would like taking it. So instead, I will head to the NFL. And here's what I actually like as maybe not a winner this week, but I think they'll keep it close. Give me the Vikings +4 against the Ravens. I think both teams will score a lot in this game, but J.J. McCarthy came back and showed me something. So I'll take the Vikings +4 against the Ravens. Could very easily be a field goal game. Vikings maybe lose by 3. I'll say that they cover 4 points.
Man, very selective from Andy here. My favorite NFL pick is Giants +4.5, not on the sheet, so I'll have to go elsewhere. I kind of like the Ravens, though, too, just because ever since they started turning it back on, they've been covering these spreads and they've been favored, even when we look at the number and go, I don't know if they should be. But I don't really want to start off in the NFL. I will say Producer Ben's Indiana pick was probably a college game I did like a decent bit, so I'll have to go elsewhere. Man, oh man, where do I want to begin with this? The Mississippi State thing is throwing me for a loop, for real. Like, it was 7, and now it's 9.5.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs are 8-1 against the spread. They're 5-0 at home against the spread this season, and Georgia hasn't looked significantly better than anybody. But I think, as I've done with a lot of my picks to build up this solid record, when a number moves in a way that I'm feeling so tempted by, I just fade myself and go the opposite. So I'll go Georgia minus 9.5.
Okay, doing our picks of the week here on the Big Show, KTGR. Producers.
All right, I'll stick in the college realm. There's still this is another SEC game that I like other than that Mississippi State one because it sounds enticing with that big of a number, but I'll stay away from it. Give me Vanderbilt minus 6.5 at home. Auburn just – I know there's a big theory that, hey, maybe you go with the team that just fired their head coach. The guys will be fired up. It'll be something to play for, a little bit of a moment, almost like a new season kind of feel. I don't really see that. I think Vanderbilt has their backs against the wall now, and they're just fighting for their playoff lives. And I think they'll be able to prevail in that one with flying colors at home.
I don't particularly like either side in that one.
Auburn can't score.
Away. Yeah, that's a problem.
I don't care who their coach is. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah. Vanderbilt will get plenty of points to be able to cover that one. Here are our picks of the week here on the Big Show, KTGR.
Like 7.
If you have 7, we'll do it.
7 might be enough to cover that one against Auburn.
Enough for Kentucky last week. Yeah. I'll go Mississippi State. I'll fade Brenden right away.
Okay.
I like the 9.5.
I want it to be right.
State on that one. It could very easily be a touchdown game. In Georgia, these are the types of games that they play. Now, maybe this is the time they snap out of it. November hits and it's really, oh, shoot, here comes Georgia. Again.
Yeah.
But no, Mississippi State has made that building a bit of a fortress. And so I will take the Bulldogs at home against Georgia.
Analysis-wise, I love the pick because I see Georgia's pass defense as being susceptible to Blake Shapen in a good pass offense. Even if Mississippi State needs the back door to cover it, that number's big enough to do it. So, again, analysis, we're on the same page. I'm literally fading myself because of the way the line moved. Not going to do that here, though. I'm taking BYU plus 10.5. They're on the road at Texas Tech. They're ranked higher in the CFP. I assume Texas Tech will win, but we've had a lot of weeks of just assuming BYU would eventually falter. I just really feel like this is going to be a closer game than this. The way that BYU has been able to get up off the mat and look dead in the water at times within their games, and they still find a way to get it done. So that's just too many points for me. Again, I feel a little bit uneasy about this one. It kind of feels to me like I could get burned, similar to how Utah just rolled Cincinnati when we looked at that spread last week and said, too many points. It wasn't. Utah handled it. But I like this feisty BYU team, and if they do pick up their first loss here, I'll go down swinging with them. BYU plus 10.5 at Texas Tech.
I will immediately fade you on that, and I will take Texas Tech.
Dang it!
Give me some logic here. I'm curious.
BYU has scraped by so far this year in a lot of their games. One that really stays prevalent in my mind is that Arizona game. They probably should have lost that. That went in double overtime. They're able to squeak by. They've had a lot of games like that, and this team just doesn't feel like a squad that's going to go undefeated. There's just a gut feeling in my stomach that they're going to falter somewhere. And I think it can be here this week in Lubbock. It's a rowdy place to play. The fans are going to be ready. They're fired up. They've been camping out. Their fans some of their students have been since Monday, ready for this game, waiting to get in there and go, just be rowdy, throw tortillas, whatever it is for the Red Raiders. And I wouldn't be surprised if Texas Tech just steamrolls BYU. They're shell-shocked when they go in there. Texas Tech's kind of fighting for their lives, too. They got one loss. They really can't afford to have another loss if they're trying to make the CFP or even possibly a Big 12 championship as well. So I really like Texas Tech in this one.
See, Ben came with logic. I was just going to pick Texas Tech because I was annoyed by BYU. I just wanted it just in spite of it. It was going to be such an emotional pick from me. I need to see the Red Raiders just bash this team in because they deserved it for a while.
And BYU kind of feels like we felt about Georgia Tech before Georgia Tech did lose one of their games. And so I definitely hear you there, but I wouldn't be shocked if they can keep it close. So I don't know. I went the other way on Georgia. I needed somebody with a bunch of points, and so that's what I did. I took the Cougars. But that's fair, Ben. All right, I see you.
All right. We're doing our picks of the week here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. That was going to be my next one, so I got to look for somewhere else to go. I'll head back to the NFL. I think the Packers win on Monday Night Football against the Eagles. This will be a big-time matchup.
Yeah.
Something maybe tells me that, look, with two teams that look pretty evenly matched in this one. Just take the points. I don't know. Packers it'll start to feel a little chilly over in Lambeau, and the magic starts to happen in that building some more. So I'll say the Packers can get it done. -1.5, not a big number, but I'll say the Packers get the win here.
I was thinking about the Eagles there, but this is only round 3, so I've got time to do it. I'm going to take a team that I don't really think is very good, but I'm going Iowa +6.5 hosting Oregon. I think they get a little bit of the magic of their stadium with this one because they're at home. You're getting a little bit of a boost from being ranked in the CFP when you weren't in the AP. And frankly, if Iowa can get this thing done outright at Kinnick, they're going to be like, I don't know, top 15 probably if they're able to beat Oregon. So I'm rooting for Oregon. Obviously, I want to see Mizzou beat A&M and be able to leapfrog some teams ahead of them. But something tells me that this could get a little ugly, and Iowa's able to keep it close. +6.5 at home, it's going to be the pick for me.
All right, during our picks of the week here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Producers, round 4.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if I want to stay in the college realm. I have done for the past few. I'm almost thinking maybe I flip to the NFL for a little bit. I think I will with this next pick. And two really fun teams in this game with the Patriots and Buccaneers. Good stories behind them all. Obviously, I know how Brenden feels about the Patriots and Mike Vrabel. So
give me Drake May, baby.
I know you really like that side, but I'm really feeling the other side with the Buccaneers. They're at home, -2.5. I think it's going to be a close game. Honestly, I just really like the Buccaneers. I just think they'll pull it out. I think the Patriots, I don't know. It's just really a gut pick for me. There's not too much logic behind it with this one. I just have a good gut feeling about it.
This is an interesting one to me. I'm rooting for the Patriots, rooting for my Drake May MVP pick from the preseason, which is now up to 3rd on the odds boards. The Bucs have been very banged up, and they're not going to have Bucky Irving back. They're not going to have Chris Godwin back. So I could see it being ugly, and that could cost you this pick, even if the Bucs win close. But I don't think I'm going to fade you when my time comes on this one. I'll be rooting for the Pats, though. Full disclosure on that.
Okay, I'm going to stay in the NFL for my next one. Yeah, I'll just say it's Lions -8. That
Correct.
feels right.
I think it is.
Yeah, at
After
the
last
Commanders.
week.
I know they're on the road. Yes, they will take out frustration for sure. You're right.
They will.
Yeah. Commanders are just so banged up. And also just even when they are at full strength, I think a lot of their team has been underachieving this year. And so I'll say that the Lions cover 8 points on the road against the Commanders.
All right. I'm looking at there's one game left in the NFL that I'm intrigued by. I'm going to wait and see if you guys touch Rams 49ers. Looks like a strange number for the road team to be favored by 4.5, but there are still some college picks that I feel decently enough about, and it's just a matter of which one I go with. I think we could see a redux of the way that Notre Dame handled Navy last year, and so I'm going to take lay the big number of points. It's 27.5 for the Irish at home. But I think they can beat Navy by 4 touchdowns. I watched a good amount of the North Texas Navy game from last weekend. North Texas handled their business, beat them by 14, and I think Notre Dame's a much better team. So I'm going to go Notre Dame and hope that they're able to defensively kind of get the ball back from Navy and not allow Navy to do too much scoring, because if it's close in the second half, I don't think there's going to be a way for Notre Dame to pull away. But I'm remembering last year and thinking we could see a redux of that, knowing that Notre Dame really doesn't have any room to let up at all with its schedule after already suffering 2 losses. I think the Irish could win it big.
Okay, last round, producers.
I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, and rightfully so. And I really hope I'm wrong with this pick, but I'm going to take Texas A&M.
Oh man,
I hate to do it. That's why I waited to the very last round to do it to see if anybody else would touch it.
Seeing what you guys are going to do there too.
I like the line. I mean, it's 7, so the way it's gone this year, I mean, Brennan has more pushes than us, but we'll probably push as well. It just seems like a game that Mizzou will be maybe competitive in for a little bit, and then just towards the end, it'll just all kind of fall apart, break down, end up being a 2-score game at the end of it all, and just really leave a bad taste in my mouth. So I'm reluctant to do it, but I'm going to have to take the Aggies.
I hear you. Yeah. If I didn't have columns on my back, I might look at this game a little differently, but I am who I am. So I that's not a pick I would have made, but I understand, and I do hope you lose it, and I hope you lose it by 8.
I hope I lose it too. But I just can't bring myself to. I just can't.
Way to bring the mood down.
I know. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
man, right
I'm
at the end of
sorry.
the show. Jeez. No, we're kidding. We're kidding. you play this game with your brain. You can play the rest of the show with your heart. That's fine. All right. I'll go with Rams -4.5 as my last pick. I really do think that even though the Niners have been winning despite all of these injuries, it will catch up to them eventually. And the Rams know how to exploit that. So I'll say the Rams go on the road and they win by at least 5.
I can't wait to see what happens there. Part of me thinks that line is right because of how McVay is going to want his get back against Kyle Shanahan after Shanahan's backups beat the Rams on Thursday night a number of weeks ago. So I was just curious if anybody was going to take that. I'm not going to touch the other side of it. You know what, you guys, you're struggling this year. Andy's 3 games under 500 coming into the week. The producers are 5 games below. I'm 12 games over 500. So you know what? I can afford to play this game with my heart rather than with my head. And so I will. Mizzou +7 is going to be my last pick. Let's go down swinging here. You know, this is a big one, and I'm not going to go into this one thinking anything other than Mizzou can get it done. So +7, heck yeah. Hopefully, if they cover, they win, because I'll feel bad about the pick if it's just with the point spread.
Yeah, the 3-point game to be something that probably doesn't.
I'm taking the touchdown and hoping that I don't need it.
Well, thank you for, I guess, allowing us to get a pick back. I don't know. Like we didn't need the pity. Well, what are we doing here?
That
It's
seems
not
like a
pity.
gut punch.
It's not pity. The gut punch is going to be for the Aggies when they lose this football game. That's the only team getting gut. That's the only people getting gut punch.
Brendan's back.
All right.
Brendan's back.
I'm as back as I'm going to be. I'm terrified. I've told you guys. I'm terrified, but I'm going into the storm. Let's get it done. Let's find a way.
We shall see. We'll start our coverage of Mizzou and Texas A&M with the Yingling Tiger Game Day Show tomorrow at 11:30. Those are our picks of the week. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks also to Rob Vino of WagerTalk.com for joining us earlier. We've got a doubleheader tonight. Be sure to catch Mizzou men's basketball as the Tigers take on SEMO for their home opener tonight, which starts at 6:30, our coverage, and then tip off at 7 p.m. That's on 105.1 FM and 1580 AM. On 100.5 FM tonight, you can hear high school football district semifinals. Hickman Cupid is visiting the Elias Crusaders. Should be a fun one as coverage starts for that at 6:45. Thanks for joining us on The Big Show. He's Brendan. He's producer Ben. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
The warm scent of maple spiced coffee fills the air. And is that a hint of Caribbean rum? That must be Caldy's Coffee Highlander Grog Brewing. Our decadent maple